What is happening, everyone? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. We have an exciting one planned for you guys. We are talking about the Spyderco Para 3 and the Spyderco Paramilitary 2. And we're going to try to narrow down, if you are looking at these for the first time, you don't have either of these knives, which one should you get and why? Which one would I pick over the other? And don't forget, this is all just my opinion, and I love both of these knives. I don't want anyone to get things twisted up, but there is one that I would pick over the other. So let's dive into each of the knives. We have the Knife Joy exclusive Paramilitary 2. This bad boy has a DLC coated drop point 20 CV blade with a full flat grind. Very slicey. Absolutely amazing pocket knife. G10, in this case it is green. And then you have Spyderco's standard pocket clip. In this case, this knife used to be not a hard user, but I used to use this quite a bit. And I didn't mind keeping this clip on it because I would get it in and out of my pocket frequently when I would carry this. So it didn't bother me to keep the standard clip on it. But that may change someday pretty soon with this guy. And this is the Knife Center exclusive Para 3 with the DLC coated crew wear drop point blade, fully flat ground again. This has the black smooth G10 handles and then a Lynch Northwest deep carry titanium pocket clip. I think that's the micarta, the faux micarta pattern on that guy, and it works great. This is more of like I'm going out type of knife, not a hard user, more of like I need a dressy, shorter, smaller style knife, something to that effect. That's usually what I use this guy for. So the main difference between these two is going to be the size. Now, to some, that may not play a huge role in things. I would say if you live in a state where the law is you cannot carry or own a knife with over a 3-inch blade, then the obvious choice here is going to be the Para 3. If you have to stay 3 inches or under, it's the Para 3, and there's no doubt about it. Now, if that doesn't, apply to you, or that's not something you plan on or intend on listening to, then that kind of changes things a little bit. The first Spyderco that I ever bought was a Para 3 in Maximate, and that's the knife that actually started my love for Spyderco, because before that knife, I never, I always kind of wondered why Spydercos were so popular. What was the big deal? They're not the most aesthetically pleasing knives to some people. I have become accustomed to these knives, and I like the way they look because I know how they feel in hand. I know how they cut. I know how great they are, so it's really changed my perspective on Spydercos. Before, I just kind of was curious as to what was so great about them. Not that I wouldn't ever get one because of the way they looked. I didn't think they were that ugly or that unesthetically pleasing. Some people, hate the look of these. And, if they've had them in hand and they still hate them, then, that's completely fine. But to say you don't like the looks of this knife and you don't think it's any good because it doesn't look good, I think you are making a huge mistake. Now, if you are looking at these and you like the way they look and you're interested in Spyderco and getting your first one or getting your first Para 3 or Paramilitary 2, then you're definitely in the right spot. like I was saying, I was a huge fan of the Para 3. I had 3 or 4 of them before I knew it. I love the Para 3, but in the meantime, I got a Paramilitary 2, and I had several of them. I've had several. I only have 3 now. I have a Tanto, Warney, and then the standard drop point. I fell in love with the Paramilitary 2, even more so. And I've been racking my brain over this. Which one would I take and why? Like I said, 3-inch or under law, Para 3 for sure. If you're into smaller knives, the Para 3 for sure. If you have bigger hands, I'm going to recommend the Paramilitary 2. If you have bigger hands, like bigger knives, PM2 all day. And the main reason, one of the main reasons is in the standard grip, I can't get a full grip on this knife. Now, most cases, that's not a huge deal because it has a full choil there, and I can get a full grip on the knife, and it's comfortable. It works very well, and for most instances, that would work just fine 90% of the time or 80% of the time. This would be just fine. But because this has that little bit of extended handle, maintaining very comfortable ergos, and it includes that full-size finger choil. So if I want to climb up and get some more control, I can. Or if I need to stay away from whatever I'm cutting, I can do that. I can come way back here, still maintain a 3-finger grip. It's comfortable, and I can get some reach. You know, it could be anything. It could be something nasty that you don't want to be right up here cutting. You know, that's just an example. You have plenty more reach with this. You're also going to have more sharpened edge. It's just, for me, think the Paramilitary 2 would be the one that I would go with over the Para 3. And that's not taking anything away from the Para 3. I think the Para 3 is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best backup knives, secondary knives in the game. The Para 3, the Nimble, and there's definitely a few others on the list. I don't want to keep naming them off because I'll miss one, but you know, this is right up there for me as one of the best secondaries ever. But as you can see here, this is almost a 3.5-inch blade, and it's going to be coming down around 8 1/4 overall, whereas the Para 3 has under a 3-inch. It's about 2 15/16, maybe 2 7/8 of total blade, and then you're about 7 1/8 for your overall length. So, you know, you're getting quite a bit more knife here, and they're routinely going to be about the same price. If you're asking, I would say to wait for a Knife Center exclusive, a DLT exclusive, some sort of exclusive, because they're routinely cheaper than a standard S30 or S45 Para 3 or PM2. It's because of the contracts that are done beforehand, so they name a price, and that's the price they stick with. You know, even if prices continue to rise, whatever they set that contract at, that's what the prices are going to be going to. For instance, just very recently, they had PM2s come out in S90V, and they were right around the $150 mark, $160 mark, and that is incredible. USA made, S90V, great build, you know, proper heat treat, which is a huge thing, you know, proper sharpening, some of the best in the production world, some of the best in the knife world, period. Spyderco, does some of the best heat treats and some of the best edges in the game, and they also have some of the most comfortable knives in the game, and that is why they are so popular. Proper heat treat, proper sharpening, and they make a plethora of different knives that are very, very hand feeling, very comfortable, and these two are some of the staples for Spyderco without question. And then another example of waiting for an exclusive or picking up an exclusive is the retail price, across the board on average is about $200 for an S45 VN, which is their standard model, about $200. Right now at Blade HQ, $200 for an S45 VN. You can get a Crew Carta, so crew wear, right? Crew wear blade steel, which is just like the Para 3 here. Crew wear blade steel and my Carta for the exact same price, $200. So it is just insane to me to not just wait and pick up an exclusive model. And I would say that Blade HQ Crew Carta is probably up in price a little bit. You could routinely get those S90V. Now, it might be the micarta that upped the price a little bit. But S90V and G10 for $150, $160 is absolutely insane. And you can routinely get those deals throughout the year. You just keep an eye out, and they do happen. So let's dig in just a touch more. The PM2 is going to be a touch heavier than the Para 3. A little bit, not by much. But, being a knife guy, having a ton of Spydercos, I'm picking the PM2. Now, with that all being said, if you've never had a Spyderco, you're not sure, you really have never had much knives to begin with, I could see 100% starting out with a Para 3. It is the safer choice, the safer size. Even with XL hands, you'll still be able to, get a full grip with that finger choil. Plenty of blade length there to get, pretty much anything you would do with a pocket knife. I could see this being the safe bet, and that's the route that I went, not knowing anything back then. That's where I went, and couldn't be happier. I love the Para 3. But knowing what I know now, having had a bunch of Spydercos and so on, and being in knives, I would just prefer the little bit extra size of the blade and of the handle. There's no difference in thickness or anything of that nature. They are identical. It's just that little bit of added size that will push me to choose the Paramilitary 2. All the different grips you can put on this knife, the little bit extra blade, it's going to make, long cuts a lot more easier with the PM2. Reach is going to be a lot better. Having a more solid grip, it's going to be a lot better, a lot easier on the PM2. And like I said at the beginning, guys, this is all coming from my opinion. So don't get it twisted. The Para 3 might be perfect for you, and the PM2 is not. Let me know down in the comments, which one would you choose? Which one, have you chosen in the past? If you're into Spydercos and you have several, which one did you go with first? Which one would you choose if you could only have one? I don't want to hear Mannix or Shaman or any of that. Out of the Para 3 and the PM2, which one would you take over the other if you could only have just one? I'm curious to know where people would go with it. Give me a thumbs up and leave that comment down below. Let me know, which one would you take? I really am interested. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below the video, or when the G-Ball Vision logo pops up. I'd love to have you here. We have tons of stuff coming down the pipe, tabletops and testing, unboxings, all kinds of stuff coming up the pipe. You got to stay. We're coming up on 4K. That rye maize, you know, rye maize, mayonnaise, something like that. But I'd love to have you here. Lots of cool stuff going on. We'll be hitting a year on YouTube very soon, in another month. And we're hoping to hit 4K by then. That would be awesome. I love you guys. I'm going to throw up a new video. Go and check it out, and I will catch you on the next one.